folks, welcome to the channel, Rockin' the Country. I'm Don. I got a gift request from none other than New York's very own MontaukEd, who happens to live in North Carolina, but only in the last 4 or 5 years. The rest of his life, Montauk, New York, which is one of the most beautiful, pristine areas of the country, let alone New York. It's absolutely stunning out there. Like the world's largest sharks are caught off Montauk. And Ed has seen a number of those, including whales and dolphins and all other things, having been a former, for a short time, commercial fisherman. So, Ed, thank you for this gift. Marty Robbins' Ballad of the Alamo. And here's the not comical, but coincidental part, is that within 2 minutes, I received 2 different gift requests from 2 different people, Ed and Guy Loomis. And both were for Marty Robbins. And there were some other gift requests in there too, of Waylon, Loretta, and so on. But I'm doing Ballad of the Alamo, and it's somewhat of a history lesson. So, Ed, thank you for this gift and this request. Ballad of the Alamo. That's Marty Robbins.
In the southern part of Texas, in the town of San Antonio, is a fortress all in ruins that the weeds have overgrown.
Dave and Christine Emsweiler.
You may look in vain for crosses and you'll never see a one, but sometimes between the setting and the rising of the sun, you can hear a ghostly bugle as the men go marching by. You can hear them as they answer to that roll call in the sky. Colonel Travis, Davy Crockett, and 180 more, Captain Dickinson, Jim Bowie, present and accounted for. Back in 1836, Houston said to Travis, get some volunteers and go fortify the Alamo. Well, the men came from Texas and from old Tennessee, and they joined up with Travis just to fight for the right to be free. Indian scouts with squirrel guns, men with muzzle loaders, stood together heel and toe to defend the Alamo. You may ne'er see your loved ones, Travis told them that day. Those who want to can leave now, those who fight to the death, let them stay. In the sand he drew a line with his army saber. Out of 185, not a soldier crossed the line, with his banners a-dancing in the dawn's golden light. Santa Anna came prancing on a horse that was black as the night. Sent an officer to tell Travis to surrender. Travis answered with a shell and a rousing rebel yell. Santa Anna turned scarlet, played to Quelo, he roared, I will show them no quarter, everyone will be put to the sword. 185, holding back 5,000. 5 days, 6 days, 8 days, 10, Travis held and held again. Then he sent for replacements for his wounded and lame. But the troops that were coming never came, never came, never came. Twice he charged, then blew recall. On the fatal 3rd time, Santa Anna breached the wall, and he killed them one and all. Now the bugles are silent, and there's rust on each sword, and the small band of soldiers lie asleep in the arms of the Lord.
Ooh, what a lyric.
In the southern part of Texas, near the town of San Antonio, like a statue on his pinto rides a cowboy all alone. And he sees the cattle grazing where a century before Santa Anna's guns were blazing and the cannons used to roar. And his eyes turn sort of misty and his heart begins to glow, and he takes his hat off slowly to the men of Alamo, to the 13 days of glory at the siege of Alamo.
Yeah, that's You know, the story of the Alamo basically is one of Texan independence, and Mexican forces had eventually overpowered. I mean, it's like, what are you saying here? Like 5,000 Mexican soldiers um, to wanted to take over the Alamo, and 180 U.S. and he said like Indian and cowboy, like American soldiers basically and Indian soldiers stood side by side, and they withheld them for almost 2 weeks, but then they were overrun. Santa Ana soldiers and I guess that was the leader of the Mexican troops. And, world history is marked by bloody battles everywhere. And when you're in a geographic location, you tend to place your battles more prominently. You tend to focus on them more, justices, injustices, whatever you may think. But the worldwide history, every land has been conquered with violence. And it's been held up with violence because whenever there are invaders who want to come and take part of your land or want your natural resources or want your women or whatever the story history tells us the stories were and why battles happened at the time. We're a violent people. We're civil much of the time. In the United States, we're a nation of laws. We're supposed to be, as long as they're enforced. And, we are not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. And that fundamental difference is upheld, rooted in the rule of law, not what the majority feels, not whatever. And everything appeals to the Constitution, but we're a nation of laws. And when you look at battles fought early on and how we evolved, it's a heck of a thing to be a nation of laws. When you grow up in it, you just think it's normal, but you go to other places where it's not that way. But as far as the song goes, I mean, Marty, it reminds me of the wreck of the Emmett Fitzgerald, where it's a history lesson. And Gordon Lightfoot with the wreck of the Emmett Fitzgerald, he was never on the Emmett Fitzgerald. He hadn't seen it. He wrote the song from reading about it and hearing about it. And he put together newspaper clippings and all this stuff and then wrote that iconic song. And this is one of those songs where Marty put whoever he consulted on this one and stuff, get all the details in there and all the different names, like Houston. Well, we're just used to the name Houston. Houston, Texas, that's a place. Well, the place was named after a man who was part of the battle. I'm right. And Dave Emsweiler, if you see this, Dr. Dave, you could correct me on this, and so can you, Ed, and anybody else who is familiar with the history. But was it Sam Houston, I think was his name. But reinforcements never came, and the folks got overrun. All 180, I guess, were slaughtered, massacred, killed, and all that stuff. But they held their own. So when you hear like the cry, "Remember the Alamo," I think partly it is about just a battle being fought and holding your own against all odds and giving it your best shot. So I'm not going to rate that one, Ed. That was a wonderful history lesson. It was. I'm going to honor those folks. So, all right, guys, have a great day. See you on another video. I'm going to try to get along with folks, but if you have to battle, we battle. What are you going to do? All right, guys, keep rocking the country too.